Welcome back to Anderson Smoke Show. Today we are back out with my Ooni Fyra because you have asked, how do I clean it? So stick around and I'm gonna show you step by step exactly what I do to clean my Ooni Pizza Oven. All right, so cleaning the Ooni Fyra is super easy, and I'm gonna start by cleaning out the pellet hopper and the burner. I've noticed after a few cooks, I start to get some buildup on these vents, and this is what allows air to come in and add fuel to the fire. So I'm just gonna take a plastic putty knife. I'm gonna scrape these clean. That way we don't get any additional buildup to where it may prevent any or restrict any airflow. And I've got some steel wool. I'm just gonna run over this just to smooth it out. So the next step, we're gonna get into the oven here. And what we wanna do is take the stone out. So I've got a plastic putty knife here that I use to clean my grills. And I use this so that I don't score up or scratch or chip the stone. So I'm gonna get this down in front of the stone and I'm just gonna use it to kind of lift up and help me get the stone out of the oven. Now remember, this stone is fragile, so be careful where you put it. As you can see, there's some soot that builds up on the inside, and I know this is more in depth than what Ooni recommends, but I've seen soot falling down onto my food in the past. So I'm taking a 4/0 steel wool. This is not going to scratch it. This isn't going to do any damage. As you can see, it's picking up some of that soot, and I'm just going to wipe around on the surfaces and mainly on the roof of the Ooni. There's a lot of soot in there that I've seen coming off the ceiling. And you're starting to see some. You can see I'm getting it on my hands. I'm gonna peek up in here and just wipe with the steel wool anywhere that I need it. This is a real deep clean compared to what Ooni says. We'll talk a little bit more about their specific recommendations. All right, looking in there, I think we did a pretty good job. The next step is I want to take my air compressor and blow this out just to get any loose material out of here. Now, most of you are probably saying, yeah, that's real simple. You know, you wiped, you blew it out, but what do you do with the pizza stone? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Directly from Ooni, they recommend that you simply flip the stone over. The heat inside of the oven is enough to clean the stone off. Now, I do have some larger pieces of debris and things that have burnt onto the surface. So I'm gonna take my plastic putty knife and I'm just gonna use this to scrape off any of the larger debris. I guess that'll just make it easier just because there's less to burn off. Now that we've got the stone scraped off a little bit, we're simply going to flip it over and reinsert it back into the oven. Voila. Don't forget to clean off the inside of your lid. That's got a lot of soot on it too. Just using a paper towel and just wiping that off. And really, there's no recommendation from Ooni about this, but I've seen the soot falling and I really don't want it on my food, so I'm gonna do whatever I can to keep that as clean as possible. And that looks much better. So now we can put the door back on. We could take our burn pot and reinsert it in the back. And when it comes to the surface of this, I'm not really concerned, but they recommend not using any abrasive cleaners or solvents. Just use some soap and water, or just water and wipe it off dry. That's it. Mine really isn't too dirty from the last time I cooked, so I'm just wiping it off with my paper towel here. If you're interested in picking up one of these Ooni Fyras or any of the Ooni products, see the link in my description. That's gonna tell Ooni that I sent you. I'd really appreciate it. Now I've shown you how I do a deep cleaning on my Ooni Pizza Oven. Ooni recommends simply flipping the pizza stone over and then running your Ooni for 30 minutes with the door closed. That's just gonna burn off anything inside. I wanted to go a little bit further than that. I wanted to clean that burn pot to make sure I didn't have any buildup. I wanted to blow it out because there was ash and soot and pellets that had fallen in there. And I wanted to make sure that that was all cleaned. So we're gonna finish up today by doing exactly what Ooni said, and that's by letting this thing run for 30 minutes and just letting it burn off anything else that was in there and let it clean the backside of that pizza stone. So let's go do it. So to get this thing lit, we simply filled it with a fire starter and covered it over with some pellets. I've got a butane torch that I use for a lot of my charcoal grills, and I'm just gonna use this to get the fire started. It's a little windy out here today, so honestly should probably get this into the Ooni. And as you can see, we've got a fire started. We're gonna let this thing get going really well before we add any pellets to the hopper. Fire's rolling. It's time to add some pellets to the pellet hopper. So we're using the chimney cap, which also doubles as a scoop. And we're just gonna carefully start placing them down in there on top of the fire. And one full hopper will last you about 15 minutes. So for this burn off, we're gonna wanna fill this hopper twice. Now that we've got it lit, let's just place the door on the front and we're just gonna let it ride for the next 30 minutes. We're gonna tend to that fire and add pellets to the hopper as needed. We just want this thing to get up to 900 plus degrees to burn off anything that's left on the other side of that stone and just to clean out the inside of the oven. I hope you enjoyed this cleaning video. I hope you found it useful. I know that a lot of my viewers have asked what I do to keep mine clean, and I showed you the exact procedure that I do, as well as I told you what Ooni recommends. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, that way you can keep up with any of the content that I put out. I would really appreciate it. Stick around so you can see more content on my Ooni Fyra or any of my backyard barbecue arsenal, and I'll see you next time at Anderson's Smoke Show. Thanks again for tuning into Anderson's Smoke Show. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and check out that recommended video, then my Facebook and my Instagram pages. I'll see you there.